story. So we're passing it on to you, and it's going to be your show for the next year.
Know that there are at least 350 cities in Canada, and Chris will be walking each one of them. George, how do you feel about Chris?
Well, you know, along the way, Danina, I met a lot of people that were on the waiting list and donor families, and you know, I got left with a lot of memories. But when I met Chris, he stood out.
Well, that's wonderful. You're making a history, George and Kristopher, and you have a poem. Yes. Where's your poem? Here. This is written by you, Kristopher?
Yeah, in grade 6. Scars have been with me my whole life. They uncovered my entire torso. Train tracks passing here and there. Large blue veins branching off into small rivers. I have an unusual belly button that resembles a crater on the moon. People are sometimes frightened when they see my scars, but I don't worry. I just don't feel as if they exist. My scars, I know that they are just there. My scars tell a story about me and my life, and they'll be with me forever.
That's beautiful, Kristopher. And you wrote that in grade 6?
Yeah.
Okay. You promised you wouldn't make me cry. You're just such a wonderful kid. We wish you the best. And
Hi, my name is Kristopher Knowles. I am 13 years old. I am waiting for a liver transplant. I've been waiting my whole life.
Only a new liver can save young Kristopher's life, and he's on top of the list. Unfortunately, there just aren't enough organs to go around. But Kristopher is determined to change that, embarking on a cross-country journey to raise awareness.
I'm doing this to save 4,000 Canadians, 4,000 men, women, and children that are on the waiting list for organ transplants, to tell everybody to sign the organ donor cards so people like me and the 4,000 Canadians can live.
Kristopher will begin his journey here in his hometown of Sarnia on January 8th. Then he'll make his way westward over here to Victoria, British Columbia. He'll start the eastern leg of his tour in St. John's, Newfoundland, and make his way to Toronto and be here on December 25th next year. But it won't be easy. Although he looks like an ordinary kid, Kristopher is in fragile health. He's had 20 operations in his short life and has the scars to prove it.
I'm not worried, but I'm hoping that halfway through I'm going to get my liver. And then my brother, Robert, he's going to finish the journey because they're not just going to stop it.
Why are you doing this?
Because he's my brother and I want to take part in this and help out any way I can.
Chris won't be alone on the track. His father will walk right alongside him.
We're going to finish this walk. We're determined to make a difference in organ and tissue donation, and I know Kristopher can do it.
It's going to be hard. Are you worried about it? No, he's with Dad, and I know his spirit, and he can do this. Most kids your age right now are thinking about what they're going to get for Christmas.
Yeah.
You're a pretty special kid.
A Sarnia teen is walking across the country promoting organ donor awareness. I'm Stephanie Manzik. I'll have Kristopher's story coming up later in the newscast.
Kristopher Knowles is 13 years old and needs a liver transplant. And while he waits, the energetic teen has taken on a colossal challenge, walking across Canada to raise organ donor awareness. Stephanie Manzik met him today.
He's a vibrant young man who has undergone more than 30 surgeries in his lifetime because of a rare liver disease. With every step he takes, Kristopher Knowles has a wish. He hopes someone, somewhere, will sign an organ donor card. The 13-year-old is walking across Canada to raise awareness and money for the Organ Transplant Association. At the same time, he's on the waiting list for a liver transplant.
When I was like 10, my dad, because we have to have the same blood type to have a liver, and my dad was going to give a piece of his liver because he's the same blood type as me, but they said you weren't allowed. I have to have the whole liver. So it's kind of, I'm waiting. That's why I'm waiting so long.
Kristopher kicked off his walk at Sarnia City Hall today. Mayor Mike Bradley officially handed him the same torch used by transplant recipient George Marcello in his similar walk back in 2000. Kristopher's peers joined him for the first leg of his walk as he made his way to Johnson Memorial School. They cheered him on and presented a check of $500 to the cause, money raised through the sale of school toques and a loony drive. If Kristopher should get the call that a liver is available for him, his big brother Robert will continue the walk.
What do you wish for your brother?
That he gets his liver and is around longer.
I'm doing this to save the 4,000 men, women, and children on the waiting list.
The Kristopher's Wish Walk wraps up December 25th in Toronto. In Sarnia, Stephanie Manzik, News Now.
Kristopher's going to be in Chatham tomorrow. To find out more about his walk, check out the website. It's kristopherswish.ca. That's Kristopher with his K. To make a donation, call toll-free at 1-866-992-3645. Strathroy.
A Sarnia teenager who desperately needs a liver transplant has set out on a trans-Canada trek to promote organ donation. CKCO's Rick Smith has more.
Kristopher Knowles is walking for his life. The 13-year-old Sarnia boy was born with a malfunctioning liver. He's on a cross-Canada walk to promote organ donation. He's had 15 major surgeries and is still waiting for a donor liver. His message to Canadians is clear.
Please don't take organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here. And please tell your family to sign your organ donor card so people like me and the 4,000 Canadians can live.
With a flame of hope in hand, his journey will take him to 200 Canadian cities. On day one, he led supporters on a walk to their school Johnson Memorial. Fellow students raised $500.
He has a commitment to this cause that is unbelievable. He has the courage of 13 years of which he has struggled and been a real role model for those students in his class who've had the privilege of working with him.
The walk is a family effort with his dad close by.
But we're not really saying goodbye to him because we think doing this walk, we're going to speed up the chances of him getting his transplant.
Oh, he'll do well. He'll do really well. He'll be tired at times, but he'll enjoy it.
Chris was inspired by this liver transplant recipient who walked across Canada 2 years ago.
We need to make this issue a priority. Above everything else, we need to pay attention to this.
So you ready to go?
Yep. All excited.
The western leg of Kristopher's journey ends up in Victoria, BC in late summer. The eastern leg starts out in St. John's, Newfoundland in late July. Kristopher returns home Christmas. Rick Smith, CKCO News, Sarnia.
A new multi-million...
An inspirational walk for hundreds of school kids in Guelph. CKCO's Leslie Gordon has that story.
13-year-old Kristopher Knowles, and behind him, students from King George Public School. The Sarnia teen is walking across Canada to raise awareness of organ donation, and today he had over 400 followers.
He's going to 200 cities across Canada. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Kristopher started his cross-country trek 2 weeks ago in Sarnia. He'll finish in about a year. He's doing it because over 4,000 people in Canada are on waiting lists for organs, including himself. He was born with a rare liver disease and is still waiting for a transplant.
I can't do much sports. I can't play hockey, soccer, and all the rough sports because if I do, if I rupture my spleen, I'll die.
But what Chris can do is talk to others like this group and tell them how donating organs saves lives. These grade 7 and 8 students are listening.
I think that it's really cool that he's doing something and it's not for himself. He needs a liver transplant so he knows how it feels for other people who feel that way.
I want them to know that they've met a hero today and that heroes come in different shapes and sizes, and we're very fortunate that we got the chance today to meet Kristopher.
Kristopher's trek continues next week with a visit to Cambridge and Brantford. Then he's off to Ottawa and Northern Ontario. Leslie Gordon, CKCO News.
A Sarnia teen is looking for a new liver, and he's willing to walk across Canada to find one. CKCO's Jim Alexander tells us about Kristopher Knowles, who shared his dream with high school students in Guelph this morning.
Hi, my name is Kristopher Knowles. I'm 13 years old, and I'm waiting for a liver transplant. I have a wish. My wish is to walk across Canada to help 4,000 Canadians that also need liver transplant.
A riveting message for students at Guelph Collegiate, someone their age in a race against liver disease. It's a race George Marcello won several years ago when he received a transplant and began walking across Canada to raise awareness about organ donation. It's a trip Kristopher will start next January with support from Guelph's mayor, Karen Farbridge, who had George and Kristopher sign her donor card as witnesses.
Thank you very much, and when you get this card, fill it out and sign it and have someone witness it.
For Kristopher, the goal is to improve this country's low rate of organ donors.
Yes, it does bother me because people need to live, and they need to help other people. That if people die, they need to help other people so they can live.
For many of these GCVI students, meeting Kristopher Knowles is the first close-up look they've had at the issue of organ donation. Student well-wishers reached out for the torch and the message Kristopher will carry.
Hopefully it'll inspire others to do the same. The best way to lead is to lead by example, and I think they're doing a good job, so hopefully people will listen to them.
Yeah, I was very surprised that our country's one of the lowest, and I think it's a great thing for people to do, and it's not that hard to just sign a card and get it done.
Sometimes things have a way of just being forgotten the next day. But I'm sure looking at those students that something was left with them, and that's what we're saying. We're hoping to plant the seeds.
Kristopher carries the torch and his wish back through Guelph January 23rd. Jim Alexander, CKCO News, Guelph.
We have an update now on a brave young Sarnia boy who's in need of a liver transplant. 13-year-old Kristopher Knowles is walking across Canada to raise awareness about organ donation, and today he is spreading his message at West End high schools.
He sends the message to all that our system of healthcare depends not only upon government but on the contribution of individuals. We all know that. This 13-year-old young man is a hero to me.
My best hope is for Kristopher to get his liver soon, and for the 4,000 men, women, and children on the list to also survive, and for Canada to become #1 on the organ transplant list.
Today marks the 30th day of Kristopher's trek. From Bloor Collegiate, he's walking to visit students at Bishop Morocco Catholic School. And he walked through the doors of the Chum City building to join us here on Cable Pulse 24. Kristopher, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I want to show one piece of equipment that you wear all the time that is extremely important to you. Tell us what this is, Kristopher.
This is the life pager that when it goes off, I have to rush to London St. Kitts Hospital to get my liver.
That's great. Now, you have some scars, and I won't ask you to show them on television. Okay, go ahead. You know what, our audience is always open to all kinds of things, and this is the kind of life that you've had to lead in your few years on Earth. If you want to show us, these are your battle scars. Tell me what we see here.
This one I had 2 years ago, and it was called the spinal shunt. It didn't work at first, but it worked after. This one, when I was born, that was my life-saving surgery. And this one was, I don't know, something. Kasai. It was the Kasai procedure.
Your dad's whispering off camera.
Yeah, it was the Kasai procedure. And then I've had other ones. This one right here, it was a little, they stuck a big knife, and they froze it first, and then they stuck a knife and took a piece of my liver out, and I was awake at the time.
Wow.
And they said that I was so brave. They went in again and took another piece because they needed to take some research on it. So
amazing. Well, I really hope that people get your message, and I know I have heard it loud and clear. I hope this beeper goes off very soon. I hope that this operation is a success and that more people will think about organ donation. We've got a whole bunch of numbers up on the screen right now. And thank you, Kristopher. It's very cool to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.
Kristopher Knowles brought his message to Peterborough today. In fact, he's crossing Canada to raise awareness about the issue. Terry Doyle has more.
Please don't take your organs to heaven. God knows we need them here.
That's the message Kristopher Knowles is taking across Canada. He is among the thousands in need of an organ transplant.
I was born with a disease called biliary atresia. It's a disease that on my liver, I don't have any tubes, so my blood's so backed up that I have to go in every 3 weeks to get an operation.
Day 40 of the journey was spent in Peterborough. Knowles met up with students from Kenner Intermediate for a walk to the school and assembly.
We've had a bake sale on Thursday and Friday for the grade 7 and 8s, and that rose awareness for the secondary school as well as our school, and we raised quite a bit of money on that. And then Mr. Crawford's been selling these blinking hearts and blinking bears, and we had quite a bit of profit with that as well.
Everybody's been great. All the kids have been happy that I'm coming, and that they're just glad that they're allowed taking part of this.
Helping Kristopher along the way is George Marcello. He completed a cross-Canada journey of his own in 2001.
When I met Chris and he expressed his desire about doing a walk across Canada,
It was perfect, step by step, the next step, Kristopher's wish. We're passing the torch to the next generation, the youth.
Because he can't do anything else, this is actually good for him. He's a little bit safer being on the road than he is at home fighting with his brother and his friends and stuff, so it was a good idea.
The Kristopher's Wish campaign heads to Trenton, Kingston, and Ottawa later this week. The Cross Canada Trek wraps up at Christmas. Terry Doyle, Checks News Watch, Peterborough.
The Durham Halliburton.
He's a 13-year-old who is walking across Canada to raise awareness about organ donation. And URO health specialist Jerry Southcott is here to tell us why. Jerry.
Sandra and James, Kristopher is a tireless teen who's learned quickly about the thousands of Canadians in need of organs. And in an effort to spread the word about the importance of organ donation, he's embarked on a cross-country crusade.
My brain was born without any tubes, so I was needing a liver at birth, and I've had over 20 operations to save my life.
Kristopher Knowles has endured more in his 13 years than most will in a lifetime. He was born with a serious liver disease affecting only 1 in every 20,000 infants soon after birth. Children rarely survive beyond 2 years. Not only has Chris beat the odds, he's making a difference one step at a time. As Kristopher Knowles makes his way through 200 cities and towns across this country, his wish is simple, to save lives. And if his will to live is any indication, Chris will see his dream come true.
My wish is to save all the 4,000 men, women, and children on the waiting list, and to tell everybody to sign their cards, or at least tell their family that they want to donate their organs.
And 51 days into his crusade, Chris is already getting the message across.
I'm definitely going to do it because now that I've seen this, it's just inspired me to be an organ donor.
My whole community was with me 100%, and we started this January 8, 2004, and we're finishing it December 25th in Toronto.
Are you getting tired at all?
Sometimes, because I usually wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning and I don't get home till like 12.
And this tireless teen shows no sign of slowing down.
I need a liver bad, but it's fine. And the strength, I don't know where it comes from. I just don't want to stop and just keep on doing it, finish it to the end.
An amazing 13-year-old. Chris will be in Ottawa for the next couple of days, and then it's off to Cornwall on Monday the 1st, Pembroke on the 2nd, and Petawawa on Wednesday the 3rd. If you'd like more information on how you can help Kristopher Knowles, log on to www.kristopherswish.ca. That's kristopherswish.ca. Sandra?
All right, Jerry, thank you for that tonight. And helping
at Skydome, pitching his cause to give the gift of life. Chris Knowles made the pitch of his life to thousands at tonight's Jays game, hoping his 13-year battle with liver disease will urge crowds to sign their donor cards. He's been on a waiting list since the age of 1, hoping his pager will soon indicate a life-saving liver's on the other end. What do you want the crowd to take away from tonight's game?
Well, my only slogan is to the whole walk is, please don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here.
Do you think you're making an impact? The message getting through?
Yeah, I think so. The West Coast was really good. It was a big success. It was long. And I'm just hoping the East Coast can do the same thing.
How's your health holding up?
Good so far.
How's that?
Awesome.
How important is tonight for him?
Oh, big time. He's totally beaming. He hasn't been feeling very good in the last few days, so he's in a lot of pain.
Chris's goal is to travel to 200 cities across Canada on this tour. So far, he's accomplished 125 cities and talked to over 1 million people in this country about the importance of organ donation. Tonight, he'll bring his message to thousands here at the Skydome. The teen who's turned his young life into a mission of raising awareness tells his message to all, including this player who met Chris as he showed up with scars from 20 operations.
Oh. Jersey and hat, I'm Eric. He has his moments he gets frustrated, especially when he can't play sports. And that makes him frustrated, then that's when he really wants it, right? So he can participate with the other children.
A remarkable young man. Kristopher's journey across the country continues in Eastern Canada next. His tour winds up in December back here in Toronto. If you'd like more info on organ donation, you can visit his website at www.kristopherswish.ca.